In the stillness of solitude, a hidden universe reveals itself, a universe rich with depth and meaning, yet often overlooked in a world obsessed with noise and connection. Living alone as an elder is frequently seen through the lens of fear, loneliness, and vulnerability. But Zen and Buddhist teachings challenge us to reframe this narrative, offering an alternative vision of solitude as a sanctuary of profound beauty, quiet wisdom, and lasting peace. The Buddha's timeless words remind us, within you, there is a stillness and a sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time and be yourself. These words carry particular resonance for those navigating the twilight of life alone. Instead of fearing the silence, we are invited to embrace it as a gateway to inner stillness. Aging alone, when viewed through this lens, becomes a rare opportunity to reconnect with the sanctuary within. Here, solitude transforms into a profound teacher, gently guiding us to uncover truths and moments of joy that have been buried beneath the din of daily life. Embracing the quiet, living alone in the twilight of life may feel, at first, like standing on the edge of a vast and uncharted wilderness. The absence of familiar voices and the hum of daily life can create a silence so profound that it feels overwhelming. For those accustomed to the constant companionship of family, this stillness may seem like an echoing void. But Zen wisdom reveals that silence is not emptiness, it is an infinite space brimming with potential, where one can discover the depth of their true self. Take the story of Eiko. After decades of raising children and caring for a busy household, she found herself alone in her small, quiet home. At first, the silence pressed heavily on her, amplifying her feelings of invisibility. She missed the noise, the laughter, even the chaos that once filled her days. But as time passed, she began to notice the subtler sounds of life, the gentle rustling of leaves in her garden, the steady rhythm of her breath as she sipped her morning tea, and the distant calls of birds at dawn. These moments, initially so fleeting, grew into cherished rituals. One morning, as she sat in her garden, Eiko realized that the quiet was not her enemy, it was her companion. The stillness held space for her thoughts, her memories, and her dreams. It guided her inward, where she found a sanctuary of peace and self-discovery. In the silence, she began to unravel the layers of herself that had been overshadowed by years of busyness. She came to see that the quiet was not an absence but an invitation, an open door to the profound beauty of her inner world. Through this transformation, Eiko discovered that silence is not something to fear but something to embrace. It is in these quiet spaces that we find clarity, reconnect with our essence, and hear the whispers of truths we might otherwise overlook. For her, solitude became a journey, not into isolation, but into the richness of a life lived with awareness and grace. Discovering inner strength. Aging alone often stirs fears of vulnerability and helplessness, but Buddhist philosophy gently reminds us that the true reservoir of strength lies within. This inner strength, cultivated through mindfulness and self-reliance, becomes a powerful force, transforming solitude into a path of empowerment and enlightenment. In the stillness of daily life, even the simplest tasks can reveal profound lessons about self-respect and resilience. Imagine the act of preparing a meal, a task many might overlook as routine. For elders living alone, this act transcends mere sustenance and becomes a form of meditation. Picture an elder chopping vegetables, each slice deliberate and unhurried. The vibrant colors of fresh produce, the rhythmic motion of the knife, and the scent of herbs filling the air all merge into a sensory symphony. As they arrange the food with care and savor each bite, they honor their own presence and worth. In this mindful ritual, the meal becomes a celebration of life, and the simple act of nourishing the body turns into a gesture of profound self-love. Consider the story of Eleanor, a retired schoolteacher who once feared the quiet of her empty home. She began to approach her daily chores with a new perspective, inspired by Zen teachings. Preparing a pot of tea became a cherished moment, a chance to slow down and focus on the delicate interplay of heat, aroma, and taste. Sweeping her floor became a dance of gratitude, each stroke of the broom connecting her to the rhythm of the present moment. In these small yet significant practices, Eleanor found a deep wellspring of joy and discovered that self-care is not merely an obligation but a form of artful living. Through these everyday acts, elders come to see their independence not as a burden but as a source of pride and strength. Buddhist philosophy encourages us to find beauty and fulfillment in simplicity, reminding us that resilience is born from embracing our capabilities with grace and intention. By transforming mundane routines into sacred rituals, those living alone uncover a profound truth, that inner strength is not lost with age but magnified through mindful presence and self-respect. The beauty of minimalism. Solitude provides the perfect opportunity to embrace minimalism. Buddhist philosophy emphasizes that simplicity leads to liberation. By letting go of unnecessary possessions, we lighten not only our physical load but also the weight on our minds. For an elder living alone, every item retained becomes a deliberate choice, a source of joy, utility, or meaning. One elder, Mr. Tanaka, found freedom in this practice. After decades of accumulating belongings, he chose to keep only what truly mattered. He bought, gifted by his late wife, a handful of books and a photo album. Each item held a story, reminding him that simplicity is not about deprivation but about creating space for what truly enriches life. Finding companionship in nature. Although family and friends may be physically distant, the natural world offers a constant, faithful presence. Buddhist teachings often celebrate nature as a mirror of our own journeys. Trees, rivers, and mountains become silent teachers, reminding us of impermanence, resilience, and interconnectedness. An elder named May found solace in her garden. She tended to it daily, observing the cycles of growth and decay. The blossoms of spring and the bare branches of winter spoke to her of life's fleeting beauty and its enduring rhythm. Through nature, she felt deeply connected to the universe and understood that she was never truly alone. The sacred rituals of daily life. For those living alone, daily routines take on profound new meanings, evolving into rituals that nurture the soul and connect the mind to the present moment. Buddhist philosophy teaches us to bring full awareness to each action, imbuing even the simplest habits with intention and grace. From the morning's first sip of tea to the gentle steps of an evening walk, these rituals serve as sacred anchors that ground us amidst the vast stillness of solitude. Imagine an elder, awakening to the quiet of dawn, beginning their day with a mindful brewing of tea. They carefully measure the leaves, feeling the texture between their fingers, and pour hot water with deliberate care, observing how the liquid blooms into rich hues. As they hold the cup, they feel its comforting warmth, inhale the fragrant aroma, and take each sip with deep intention. These moments, while outwardly simple, become profound acts of presence, a symphony of senses harmonizing to remind them of life's delicate beauty. Consider Mary, a retired nurse who once described her days as mundane and repetitive. She began practicing mindfulness as part of her routine, transforming ordinary tasks into moments of deep connection. Preparing her breakfast became an art, slicing fruit with precision, arranging it on her plate as though painting a canvas. As she ate, she took the time to savor each flavor, appreciating the nourishment it brought her body. What once felt like an automatic chore became a source of joy and gratitude. Throughout the day, these small rituals weave a tapestry of mindfulness. The simple act of sweeping the floor becomes a meditative practice, each stroke of the broom clearing not just dust but mental clutter. Watering plants transforms into a communion with nature, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all life. Lighting a candle at dusk creates a space of tranquility, where the flickering flame mirrors the gentle rhythm of the elder's breath. Through these sacred rituals, solitude becomes an ally rather than an adversary. Each action, no matter how small, carries the weight of intention and the promise of peace. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that mindfulness in the mundane can illuminate the extraordinary, turning even the quietest days into profound journeys of self-discovery and contentment. Redefining purpose in solitude. Aging alone offers a unique opportunity to redefine purpose in ways that transcend traditional societal roles. Buddhist philosophy teaches that purpose is not something to be dictated by external expectations, but rather it arises from the authenticity of our thoughts, actions, and intentions. Solitude, often perceived as a void, becomes a fertile ground where new passions can take root, skills can flourish, and compassion for oneself and others can deepen. Take the story of David, a retired accountant. After years of adhering to a structured and demanding career, David found himself living alone with ample time to reflect. Initially, he struggled with the absence of professional responsibilities, feeling untethered. But one day, he decided to pick up a paintbrush, something he hadn't done since childhood. With no formal training, David approached the canvas with a sense of curiosity and joy, letting colors and shapes flow freely. His early attempts were simple, but they became profound expressions of his inner world. The act of painting became his sanctuary, a way to explore emotions, memories, and aspiration. Through his art, David discovered that purpose wasn't about accolades or achieving perfection. It was about engaging with life authentically and creating something meaningful, even if only for himself. Each brushstroke became a meditation, a moment of connection with his inner self. His solitude, once daunting, transformed into a space for creativity and growth. For many, this redefinition of purpose might manifest in different ways. Some may take up gardening, finding joy in nurturing life. Others might write poetry, explore music, or volunteer their time to help others. The key lies in embracing what resonates deeply, allowing solitude to become a canvas for self-expression and exploration. Buddhist teachings remind us that purpose is not measured by grand achievements but by the sincerity and presence we bring to each day. Whether it's learning a new skill, offering kindness to a neighbor, or simply being present with oneself, these acts carry profound meaning. In solitude, purpose is redefined not as what we do for the world, but as who we become through the journey of self-discovery and mindful living. Reflecting on life's lessons, solitude offers a profound space for reflection, a time to sift through the moments of life with clarity and acceptance. Buddhist teachings encourage us to welcome both joys and sorrows as essential threads in the tapestry of existence. Through this lens, memories emerge not as burdens, but as teachers guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves. Consider Clara, an elder who often sat by her window, gazing at the changing seasons outside. In the stillness of her solitude, memories from her life surfaced, some bright and warm like a summer morning, others heavy and shadowed like a stormy evening. At first, she felt overwhelmed by the weight of regret and the ache of loss. But over time, Clara began to approach these memories with the wisdom of Buddhist teachings. Instead of clinging to moments of joy or pushing away pain, she held each memory gently, like a pebble in her hand, examining its texture and significance. Clara came to understand that every experience, whether filled with laughter or tears, had shaped her into the person she had become. The days of youthful adventure, the challenges of raising a family, the heartbreak of loss, and the quiet victories of perseverance all blended into a mosaic of growth and resilience. Sitting by her window, she began to whisper words of gratitude to the life she had lived. "Thank you," she would say, to the joyful days for their warmth, and to the painful ones for their lessons. Through this practice, Clara discovered a profound sense of peace. She realized that reflection was not about reliving the past or rewriting its story, but about honoring it with compassion. Each memory became a stepping stone leading her to the present moment, where she could rest in the knowledge that her journey, with all its twists and turns, had been uniquely her own. In this reflective space, solitude transformed into a sanctuary. Clara's window became a portal to both her inner world and the expansive wisdom she had cultivated. Buddhist philosophy reminds us that acceptance of our life's entirety, without judgment or regret, allows us to move forward with lightness and grace. In embracing her memories, Clara found freedom, understanding that each experience, no matter how it was colored, was an integral part of her unfolding story. Embracing the unknown, living alone, invites a heightened awareness of life's impermanence and the reality of mortality. While this awareness can initially feel unsettling, Buddhist philosophy offers a perspective of peace, viewing death not as an end but as a natural transition, or return to the source. This understanding encourages us to face the unknown with acceptance and curiosity rather than fear, transforming solitude into a sacred space for profound inner preparation. Consider Mr. Lee, a retired teacher who had always been surrounded by the bustling energy of his students and colleagues. After retiring, he found himself living alone, confronted with the quiet reality of his own mortality. At first, this solitude felt heavy, but he began to explore Buddhist teachings on impermanence and the cyclical nature of life. Through meditation and reflection, he discovered comfort in the idea that just as life flows from one moment to the next, so too does existence transition into something beyond. Each day, Mr. Lee would sit by his small garden, observing the changing seasons. The falling leaves of autumn, the blooming flowers of spring, and the resilience of evergreen trees reminded him of life's impermanent yet continuous nature. He came to see that just as he had never been truly alone in life, he would not be alone in death. His existence was part of a greater whole, interconnected with all that is and ever will be. Through this contemplative practice, Mr. Lee's solitude became a space for peace and grace. He began to embrace his days with a sense of gratitude, preparing for the unknown with a heart unburdened by fear. Buddhist wisdom teaches that by accepting impermanence, we free ourselves from clinging to what cannot be held and find liberation in the present moment. For Mr. Lee, this shift transformed the known from a source of anxiety into a horizon of infinite possibility, one that he approached with courage and calm. In solitude, we are invited to prepare not only for the end but for the richness of each moment leading to it. Death, seen through the lens of Buddhist philosophy, becomes not an ending to dread but a natural continuation, a doorway into the vast mystery that unites us all. By embracing this truth, we find not despair but a deep and abiding sense of peace. The joy of non-attachment through solitude, elders encounter the profound Buddhist principle of non-attachment, a practice that transforms life's inevitable losses into opportunities for growth and liberation. As they face the natural shedding of possessions, relationships, and even physical abilities, they learn to meet these changes not with resistance but with graceful acceptance. Non-attachment does not signify the absence of love. Rather, it represents a deeper form of cherishing, one that holds life's impermanent gifts lightly, with gratitude instead of clinging. Imagine an elder parting with a cherished heirloom, such as a favorite piece of jewelry or a family memento. Instead of lamenting its loss, they reflect on the joy it brought them and the memories it carries. This act of letting go becomes a release of the weight of possession, a step toward freedom from attachment. It is not about forgetting or discarding but about honoring while moving forward. By embracing this perspective, elders discover a profound sense of freedom. They embody the quiet wisdom that comes from a life lived with intention and clarity. Patience replaces impatience, kindness softens the edges of grief, and peace becomes their natural state. They become living reflections of these virtues, radiating a sense of calm that inspires others without the need for words. Take the story of Mr. Yamada, an elder who had lost much over the years: his partner, his physical strength, and even his lifelong home. Initially, he grieved these losses deeply, feeling as though the foundation of his life had crumbled. Yet, through the practice of non-attachment, he began to see each loss as a teacher. He discovered that by releasing his grip on what was no longer present, he could fully embrace the beauty of what remained: his love for nature, the joy of a bird's song, and the companionship of his own breath. These realizations brought him a sense of lightness he had not known in years. In letting go, elders do not lose their connection to the world, rather, they deepen it. They teach younger generations through their example, showing that the greatest strength lies not in holding on, but in the courage to release. In their presence, one senses an unspoken lesson, that true peace is found not in possession, but in appreciation, and not in clinging, but in living fully within the flow of life's impermanence. A legacy of inner light. In their solitude, elders leave behind a legacy not one measured by material wealth or accolades, but by the quiet power of wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. Their lives, though seemingly understated, become beacons of light for those around them. A simple smile can soothe a weary soul, a kind word can inspire hope, and their calm demeanor can ripple outward, touching lives in ways they may never fully know. Consider the story of Mrs. Liang, a widow who lived alone in her small village. Though she rarely ventured far from her home, her presence was felt throughout the community. Children adored her gentle storytelling, neighbors admired her patience, and visitors left her home feeling a sense of tranquility they couldn't quite explain. Mrs. Liang never sought recognition, yet her kindness left an indelible mark on everyone she met.
This legacy of inner light is not about grand gestures, but about embodying the qualities that truly matter. Buddhist philosophy teaches us that the heart's impact is measured not by its volume, but by its resonance. The elders who embrace solitude find that their lives, enriched by reflection and mindfulness, become living examples of these truths. Through their serenity and compassion, they quietly show the world that greatness lies in simplicity and that true wealth is found within. In a world often focused on outward achievements, the legacy of an elder's inner light reminds us of the timeless value of presence, understanding, and connection. They teach us, not through lectures, but through the example of their lives, that even in solitude, one can leave a profound and lasting imprint on the world. The joy of contentment at the heart of this journey lies contentment, a state of being that transcends external circumstances and connects us to the essence of happiness. Buddhist philosophy teaches that true joy does not come from possessions or achievements, but arises from within, cultivated through mindfulness and self-compassion. For elders, embracing solitude becomes a gateway to this profound peace, allowing them to rediscover the beauty and simplicity of life. Imagine waking up to a quiet morning where the world feels still and every moment holds infinite potential. In this stillness, elders find gratitude for the simplest blessings: the warmth of sunlight streaming through a window, the gentle sound of leaves rustling in the breeze, or the steady rhythm of their breath. Each of these moments becomes a reminder that life itself is enough, that happiness resides not in what we seek, but in what we already have. Consider the story of Anna, a retired musician who once measured her worth by the applause of an audience. Living alone, she feared that her days of purpose and fulfillment were behind her. Yet, as she spent more time in solitude, Anna began to find joy in the quiet rituals of her daily life. She rediscovered the pleasure of playing her piano not for others, but for herself. Each note became a meditation, a connection to her inner world. Through this practice, Anna realized that contentment wasn't about being seen or celebrated, but about being present and at peace. By embracing solitude, elders like Anna learned to rest fully in the present, finding grace in each breath and gratitude in each sunrise. Buddhist teachings remind us that contentment is not a fleeting emotion, but a way of being, a deep-seated recognition that life, in all its simplicity, is a gift. It is through this acceptance that they discover the ultimate truth. Living alone is not a limitation, but an opportunity to cultivate freedom, wisdom, and joy. In solitude, life becomes a spiritual journey, an inward path that leads to the boundless peace residing within. Elders come to see that their true home is not a place, but a state of mind, one filled with gratitude, self-compassion, and unshakable contentment. Thank you for watching and joining me on this journey of reflection and growth. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of this message spoke to your heart? Are there any topics or questions you'd like to explore in future videos? Let's build this space of shared wisdom and connection together. Until next time, take care and remember to embrace the stillness within. See you in the next video.